The Virginian, 1962–1971, remains one of the most iconic Western series in television history, known for its compelling stories, sweeping landscapes, and a cast of unforgettable characters. Over the years, the show's stars became household names and helped shape the golden era of TV westerns. But behind the legacy of this beloved series lies a more somber truth: many of the actors who brought these characters to life have sadly passed away. From the highs of their careers to the personal struggles and final moments that marked their lives, we honor their memory and celebrate the impact they left on fans around the world. In this video, we pay tribute to the talented cast members of The Virginian who have tragically died. Doug McClure was born on May 11, 1935, and took on the role of Trampas in 1962 at the age of 27. On screen, Trampas was witty, loyal, and the heartthrob cowboy of The Virginian, masking the darkness that often consumed McClure in real life. Though he became a fan favorite, his Hollywood journey was riddled with turbulence. Typecast as the affable sidekick, he struggled to break free creatively and was quietly replaced or sidelined in other projects due to rumored on-set unreliability. Off-screen, McClure's charm deteriorated behind closed doors. He married 5 times, with each marriage ending in bitter divorce. His last wife publicly cited emotional abuse and alcoholism. His only daughter later admitted they had an estranged relationship due to his frequent absences and unpredictable temper. McClure battled severe alcoholism for decades, often disappearing from sets or arriving inebriated, causing friction with castmates and producers. He died on February 5, 1995, at age 59 from lung cancer, a grim end hastened by years of chain smoking and hard drinking. Lee J. Cobb was born on December 8, 1911, and played Judge Henry Garth in The Virginian beginning in 1962, when he was 51. On screen, he was the stern patriarch, but in reality, Cobb carried the scars of a man broken by paranoia, guilt, and betrayal. Once a celebrated stage actor, his career plummeted during the McCarthy era when he was named as a suspected communist. Under pressure and fearing prison or blacklisting, Cobb gave a controversial testimony before the House Un-American Activities Committee, naming several colleagues. That act earned him fierce condemnation and lifelong regret. Many peers never forgave him. His personal life was no less tragic. His marriage crumbled amid accusations of verbal abuse and emotional instability, and his daughter later spoke of a household consumed by rage and silence. Cobb also battled chronic health issues, including stress-induced ulcers and dependency on painkillers, and he was rumored to have alienated nearly every castmate due to his explosive temper. He died of a heart attack on February 11, 1976, at age 64. James Drury was born on April 18, 1934, and became the Virginian at the age of 28 in 1962. His character, stoic, unwavering, and morally upright, was a cowboy of conviction, yet Drury's personal life hinted at a man haunted by fading relevance and broken expectations. Though revered during the show's run, Drury was quietly blacklisted from several studios after developing a reputation for being difficult, allegedly due to clashes with executives over creative direction. Despite his public image as scandal-free, behind the scenes, Drury endured 2 acrimonious divorces. His second wife accused him of being emotionally unavailable and controlling, while his estranged son publicly criticized him for abandoning the family during his post-Virginian decline. As roles dried up in the 70s, Drury sank into deep financial troubles, nearly declaring bankruptcy, and reportedly battled undiagnosed depression. Although never embroiled in major scandals, whispers among cast and crew described him as increasingly bitter and withdrawn. He died on April 6, 2020, just shy of 86, from natural causes. Sara Lane was born on March 12, 1949, and joined the Virginian as Elizabeth Granger in 1966 at the age of 17. Portraying a bright, spirited young woman, Lane's character offered a rare softness to the rugged Western, but off-screen, she was quickly disillusioned by Hollywood's cruelty. Though she gained instant fame, Lane was hypersexualized by the media as a teen, with male co-stars and executives allegedly making inappropriate advances, a topic she only hinted at in late interviews. Her career never flourished beyond the Virginian, due largely to her refusal to play casting couch politics. She turned down roles that demanded nudity or submission. Lane married young, but the union ended in divorce after her husband accused her of neglecting family life for brief stabs at reviving her stalled career. Disillusioned and battling anxiety, she withdrew from the industry entirely, later revealing she suffered from depression for years and felt discarded by an industry that once adored her. She died from cancer on March 3, 2023, at age 73. John McIntire was born on June 27, 1907, and portrayed Clu Gulager in 1967 at the age of 60. His character brought a stern but fair leadership to the Shiloh Ranch, serving as the wise patriarch who balanced rugged pragmatism with occasional warmth. While McIntire was revered for his gravitas on screen, behind the scenes he carried personal demons quietly. He was deeply affected by the death of close friends in the industry, which fueled a late-life dependency on prescription sedatives. Though respected for his professionalism, he had a known disdain for younger actors, often undermining them with passive-aggressive remarks during takes. He was rumored to have clashed violently with directors who challenged his interpretations, particularly on The Virginian, where his rigid control allegedly led to a near walkout of the set crew. At home, his marriage to Janette Nolan masked deep fractures. Sources close to the couple described years of emotional distance and unresolved grief following the death of their child in infancy. McIntire died on January 30, 1991, at the age of 83 from emphysema and cancer. Clu Gulager was born on November 16, 1928, and joined the Virginian in 1963 at age 35 as Emmett Riker, a gritty and no-nonsense deputy. While Riker was a symbol of law and order, Gulager himself was anything but predictable. Widely regarded as intense, he was also infamously combative with directors and co-stars, known to explode into profanity-laced tirades if scenes didn't go his way. His wife, actress Miriam Byrd Nethery, stayed by his side despite reports of emotional volatility and public infidelity, once telling a friend, "You never know which Clu you'll get." Though he had a strong run in horror films later in life, Gulager's reputation preceded him. Several producers refused to cast him due to rumors of physical aggression during rehearsals. Despite the tension, he was deeply admired by genre fans and young directors, though he remained largely estranged from mainstream Hollywood. He died on August 5, 2022, at age 93, of natural causes, a wild card to the end who never fully escaped the chaos he seemed to court. L.Q. Jones was born on August 19, 1927, and appeared as Belden in 1963 at the age of 36. His character was quirky and loyal, but the actor behind that charm was more calculated and shrewd than anyone imagined. A savvy businessman, Jones made millions as a producer but was also known for exploiting contracts and underpaying crew. Former colleagues accused him of toxic behavior on set, including aggressive tirades and humiliating subordinates in front of others. He allegedly blackballed young talent who threatened his influence within the Western genre. Jones' romantic life was no less chaotic. He was in a long-term relationship with a much younger aspiring actress who later accused him of manipulation and career sabotage after their breakup. Several lawsuits were quietly settled in the 1980s involving claims of harassment and contractual fraud. Though he later reinvented himself as a cult filmmaker, his shadow loomed large in industry gossip circles. He died on July 9, 2022, at the age of 94 from natural causes. Ross Elliott was born on June 18, 1917, and took on the role of Sheriff Mark Abbott in 1962 at the age of 45. As the upstanding lawman of Medicine Bow, his character symbolized quiet strength and moral clarity, a far cry from his turbulent off-screen life. Despite his polished image, Elliott battled a hidden drinking problem throughout the 1960s, leading to several stints in rehab that were carefully concealed by studio PR. Industry whispers alleged a bitter feud between Elliott and lead actors, stemming from his frustration over being typecast and denied deeper roles. His personal life was equally strained. He divorced twice, both times under allegations of infidelity and emotional neglect. His estranged daughter later accused him of abandoning the family emotionally, if not physically. A once promising film career collapsed after a controversial on-set outburst in 1959 that got him blacklisted from major studios for several years. Elliott died on August 12, 1999, at the age of 82 due to cancer. Janette Nolan was born on December 30, 1911, and played Holly Granger in 1963 at the age of 52. Her portrayal was warm and composed, embodying the heart of the Granger family. But the woman behind the role lived a life shaped by artistic obsession and quiet anguish. Nolan, though praised for her talent, was often passed over for leading roles due to her unconventional looks, a rejection that fueled years of body image issues and private breakdowns. Though married to John McIntire, their union was far from tranquil. Close acquaintances described a household rife with tension, artistic jealousy, and emotional withdrawal. Nolan was also said to have a manipulative streak, using her radio influence in the 1940s to edge out competitors. A hoarder in private, she struggled with compulsive behaviors that friends tried to hide from the public eye. While rarely linked to scandal, Nolan allegedly once had a volatile backstage altercation with a fellow actress that ended in blacklisted contracts for both. She died on June 5, 1998, at the age of 86 due to a stroke. Charles Bickford was born on January 1, 1891, and joined the Virginian in 1962 as John Granger at the age of 71. On screen, he was the epitome of hard-edged authority, but behind the persona lay a career forged in rebellion and ego. Bickford was infamous for his explosive temper and deep contempt for Hollywood executives, earning him a reputation as unmanageable since the 1930s. He was once mauled by a lion on set due to safety protocol violations he insisted on bypassing, a symbol of his reckless pride. During the Virginian era, tensions with producers escalated due to his refusal to follow direction or memorize lines, often improvising dialogue that disrupted continuity. Privately, Bickford was plagued by loneliness, estranged from siblings over inheritance feuds and surviving multiple affairs that destroyed his only marriage. Rumors long circulated that he engaged in physical altercations with co-stars when off-camera disagreements boiled over. He died on November 9, 1967, at the age of 76 due to a blood infection. Stewart Granger was born on May 6, 1913, and joined the Virginian in 1970 at the age of 57, playing Colonel Allen Mackenzie, the new owner of Shiloh Ranch. Granger's character brought a touch of sophistication to the rugged world of the series, but in real life, the actor's charm masked a turbulent personal life. A former British heartthrob, Granger's career soared in the 40s and 50s with swashbuckling roles in films like King Solomon's Mines. However, by the time he joined the Virginian, his star had faded. Granger struggled with alcoholism, a habit that led to volatile behavior both on and off set. His marriages were equally chaotic. He wed 4 times, with one of his divorces involving a highly publicized battle over his fortune. Known for his passionate, often stormy relationships, Granger's love life was a scandal in itself. In his later years, his bitterness towards Hollywood and his self-destructive habits alienated many in the industry. He passed away on August 16, 1993, at the age of 80 due to prostate cancer. John Bryant was born on August 10, 1916, and joined the Virginian in 1963 at the age of 47, portraying Dr. Spaulding, the town's well-respected physician. While his role in the show may have been one of professionalism and trustworthiness, Bryant's real life told a very different story, filled with dark secrets and shattered reputations. Bryant had a history of failed marriages, with his second wife famously accusing him of emotional and physical abuse during their time together. Although he maintained an image of the perfect family man on screen, he struggled with depression and a series of public altercations stemming from his alcohol dependency. In the late 60s, Bryant was embroiled in a scandal when he was arrested for driving under the influence, which resulted in a temporary suspension of his acting career. The incident cast a shadow on his previously steady roles, and while he managed to stay relevant in television, his personal demons continued to haunt him. He passed away on July 13, 1989, at the age of 72 due to a heart attack. Lew Brown, born on March 18, 1925, took on the role of Dink in The Virginian in 1962 when he was 37. His character brought warmth and humor to the rough Western world, but behind that disarming charm was a man wrestling with demons. Brown's career, though varied, never escaped the shadow of being just another character actor, and he resented it. Bitter over never landing a lead, he became notoriously difficult on set, with some crew members recalling frequent outbursts and an abrasive ego. Brown's personal life was a patchwork of broken relationships. Divorced twice, he fathered 3 children, one of whom later accused him of emotional abuse and abandonment in a scathing memoir that was quietly pulled from circulation after legal threats. Industry insiders knew of his gambling addiction, which led him to borrow heavily from co-stars and rack up debts with unsavory figures in Las Vegas. Though he managed to keep his public image intact, the shame of financial ruin followed him into his final years. Brown died on July 27, 2014, aged 89, reportedly estranged from most of his family. Stuart Nisbet was born on January 17, 1934, and joined the Virginian in 1962 at the age of 28, playing the bartender in the series. Although his role was minor, his long career in television allowed him to carve out a niche for himself as a dependable character actor. However, behind the scenes, Nisbet was anything but the steady professional he appeared to be. Known for his volatile temper, he frequently clashed with directors and fellow actors. His reputation as a difficult performer spread through the industry, and while he continued to work, his roles became increasingly smaller. Nisbet's personal life was equally complicated. His numerous failed marriages and strained relationships with his children left him a deeply isolated figure. His ongoing struggles with alcoholism also contributed to his erratic behavior. Despite these challenges, Nisbet maintained a steady presence on television, appearing in a wide range of shows. He passed away on June 23, 2016, at the age of 82 due to cancer. Russell Thorson, born on October 14, 1906, portrayed Sheriff Stan Evans in The Virginian in 1962 at the age of 56. On screen, his stoic demeanor and unshakable presence made him the archetype of frontier justice. Despite early promise in radio dramas, Thorson struggled to transition into major film roles and was often cast in thankless supporting parts, leading to a quiet bitterness that colleagues sensed but dared not confront. His personal life was marred by secrecy. He never married, and rumors swirled for decades about a long-concealed homosexual relationship with a fellow radio actor, which, in conservative mid-century Hollywood, forced him into isolation. He withdrew from social events, obsessed over his privacy, and was known to lash out at producers who pried. Whispers also circled about a heated confrontation on the Virginian set over billing disputes, where Thorson allegedly threatened to walk off mid-season. His growing paranoia and reliance on alcohol to cope with the obscurity of his later years were noted by close acquaintances. Thorson died on July 6, 1982, at the age of 75 from natural causes. Bing Russell, born May 5, 1926, played Donovan in The Virginian in 1962 at age 36. While beloved for his rugged roles and the warm father-son bond he shared with Kurt Russell, few knew the shadows looming over his life. Bing's fierce independence often clashed with studio heads, he was blacklisted from several productions after publicly accusing a director of racial exploitation on set, a rare move for the time, which cost him leading roles. Off-screen, he maintained a volatile open marriage that led to multiple affairs, one of which involved a scandalous relationship with a young female assistant who later claimed coercion and psychological abuse. Though charges were never filed, the incident haunted him. Russell also had a contentious relationship with his father, a former pro baseball executive, whose rejection over Bing's acting career led to years of estrangement. Obsessed with control, he micromanaged his son Kurt's career and reportedly interfered in studio negotiations, earning a reputation as an overbearing stage father. He died of cancer on April 8, 2003, at age 76. Myron Healey, born June 8, 1923, took on the role of the second drifter in the Virginian in 1963 at age 40, often cast as the quintessential Western bad guy. Yet Healey's own story veered into far murkier territory. Behind the grizzled exterior was a man with a dark temper and a laundry list of professional feuds. Multiple directors claimed he was impossible to direct, frequently rewriting lines and challenging cues mid-take. His romantic life was chaotic, 4 marriages, all ending in bitter divorces, and a trail of lovers who described him as emotionally abusive and pathologically jealous. One ex-wife accused him of stalking and threatening behavior in a sworn affidavit during a messy court battle in the 1970s, but the case was dismissed. Rumors of bar fights, backroom brawls with stuntmen, and an alleged DUI arrest that mysteriously disappeared from public record all painted the portrait of a man barely holding it together. He remained unapologetic until the end, never denying his faults but never atoning either. Healey died on December 21, 2005, aged 82, defiant to the last breath. Walter Wolf King was born on November 2, 1899, and played the judge in 1963 at the age of 64. In The Virginian, he exuded the gravitas of a man who'd seen too much, and that weariness wasn't just acting. King's real life was riddled with secrets. A closeted bisexual during an unforgiving era, he lived a double life for decades. His early Broadway success gave way to disappointment in Hollywood, where he was repeatedly passed over for lead roles. His bitterness reportedly turned to cruelty. He was known to belittle co-stars and once assaulted a stagehand during a drunken rage in 1958, resulting in a quiet out-of-court settlement. King's long-term companion, a jazz pianist, died of suicide in 1962, a tragedy King never publicly acknowledged. He was addicted to painkillers by the early 70s, masking chronic back pain and emotional collapse. Once revered for his voice and screen presence, King ended his career as a forgotten relic. He died of a heart attack on October 24, 1984, at age 84. Leonard P. Geer was born on May 9, 1914, and took on the role of the first outlaw in 1962 at age 48. Known in the industry as a fearless stuntman, Geer's physical prowess masked a chaotic life. His screen appearances were often violent, a mirror to his reputation off-camera. Known for brawling in bars and sabotaging stunt setups to test new hires, Geer was blacklisted from several studios for his volatile behavior. His first wife filed for divorce citing physical abuse, and his second marriage ended after just 6 months when he was caught in an affair with a co-star's teenage daughter. Behind his grizzled exterior was a man haunted by survivor's guilt after witnessing a fellow stuntman's fatal fall in 1959, an incident Geer blamed himself for, as he'd insisted on skipping safety checks. Racked with guilt and insomnia, he turned to amphetamines and was hospitalized twice for paranoid delusions. Despite his skill, many directors refused to work with him after 1970. He died of natural causes on January 9, 1989, at age 74. Norman Leavitt was born on December 1, 1913, and joined the Virginian as the storekeeper in 1964 at age 51. Though he played the affable, mild-mannered merchant on screen, Leavitt was a notoriously cold and manipulative figure behind the scenes. Known for undermining fellow actors with studio execs to secure more screen time, he was quietly nicknamed the Vulture by crew members. His long TV career was sustained more by politics and blackmail than talent, as later revealed by a tell-all memoir from a former CBS casting agent. Leavitt's marriage crumbled in 1972 after a series of affairs with aspiring actresses, some barely out of their teens. His estranged daughter accused him in 1998 of mental abuse and abandoning the family for a life of late-night poker and drinking binges. In his final years, Leavitt suffered from dementia, often ranting about conspiracies and forgotten grudges. He died of dehydration and complications from dementia on December 11, 2005, at the age of 92. Who's your favorite character in The Virginian? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.